All right. Okay, so hey, this is Michael Imhotep. We're back again trying to finish this up. We were broadcasting and it was distorted some. So trying to broadcast again and finish this up. So I'm out here in Detroit at Eliza Howell Park, okay, for the 18th annual African Unity Festival. The 18th annual African Unity Festival. All right, I'm at Fenkel and Telegraph Road, Eliza Howell Park. This is a free event. Come on out, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. So we know a lot of people celebrate the 4th of July, or what we call the 4th of July. But here at this event, this is put on by the United African Community Organization. We celebrate a unity between continental Africans, Africans from the Caribbean, and African Americans. All right, so there'll be African culture out here, dance, food, sports, music, live performances. It's a free event. Come on out. And there'll be different African associations from different African nations. How you doing? There'll be different I'm doing a live broadcast. There'll be different African associations out here from different African nations. And they all have vendor booths out here. They have vendor booths out here. They have food, all of this, okay? So come on out. So it's a family-friendly event as well, so bring the children, okay? And in the previous broadcast, it was distorted some. I was talking a little bit about the history of Juneteenth. So we celebrated that last month, June 19th, 1865, was when Major General Gordon Granger went into Galveston, Texas. He went to Galveston, Texas, and he delivered General Order Number 3. General Order Number 3. And that let the enslaved Africans there in Galveston, Texas, know that they were free. Now, this was 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. Civil War ended June 2nd, 1865. June 2nd, 1865, okay? He was enforcing the Emancipation Proclamation from January 1st, 1863. Contrary to popular belief, even though that was delivered January 1st, 1863, by then President Abraham Lincoln, that's not what freed the enslaved Africans, okay? And people should go to LLC.gov and read it. There were 3.1 million enslaved Africans in the Confederate States. And it basically said that the slaves in the states of rebellion, the Confederate States, they were free, but slaves that were in states that were like border states, Delaware, Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, Delaware, Missouri, Kentucky, and I think Maryland as well, they were still slaves, okay? They were allowed to keep their slaves for a period of time. We know in Washington, D.C., they did not abolish slavery in Washington, D.C. to 1862. This is the second year of the Civil War. Civil War starts April 12, 1861 with the attack on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. Doesn't end till June 2nd, 1865. So you have about 250,000 enslaved Africans in Texas. Major General Gordon Granger arrives with 2,000 Union troops on June 18th. He gets to Galveston June 19th, and this is so when we celebrate Juneteenth, this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating that these Africans were given the word that they were free. Now we know that they're going to be put back into quasi-slavery with sharecropping. Then you have the convict leasing system. You have the black codes, things like this. But you know, that is ending one chapter of history, starting another chapter, going into Reconstruction, 1865 to 1877. You also have 1862. You have the massive land giveaway of ultimately 250 million acres of land, called the Homestead Act of 1862. That was signed into law by Abraham Lincoln. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't Abraham Lincoln who signed that, because he was, no, yeah, it was 1862, May 20th, 1862. That signed into law by Abraham Lincoln. That gave away 250 million acres of land. 250 million acres of land. And we were largely shut out of that. Okay, almost all that land went to Europeans. They were giving away land for over 100 years. The last application for land from the Homestead Act was in 1976. The last allotment was given out in 1988. 80 acres of land in Alaska. Okay, go to history.gov, which is the official website of the History Channel, and search for Homestead Act. Okay, then in 1866, after the Civil War ends, you have a Southern Homestead Act, which gave away 45 million acres of land in 5 states. Okay, we were locked out of that as well. So you have hundreds of millions of acres of land. You got 138 million acres of land given away with the Dawes Allotment Act of 1887. We're largely shut out of that as well. Okay, and this lays the foundation for people after slavery to acquire some type of wealth, to acquire land, okay, that they can then have African people sharecropping on. They can sell it, they can develop it, things like this, okay? So we were not getting that foundation, which is largely why we control only 1.2% of the wealth today. It's not because we don't spend enough money with each other. That's not why. It's not because we don't know how to invest. That's not why. No, it's because of the theft of the land. And Europeans stole 2.3 billion acres of land from indigenous African people and Native Americans. This is why. Read How White Folks Got So Rich, the Untold Story of American White Supremacy. How White Folks Got So Rich, the Untold Story of American White Supremacy. Read Black Label White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. Read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, right? So when we understand and deal with politics, we have to understand we have to correct that maldistribution of wealth, power, and resources. One of the ways to do that is to enforce the Black Freedmen Indian Treaties of 1866, because the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, Cherokee, and Seminole Indians all owned black slaves. After the Civil War, well, during the Civil War, they sided with the South and fought with the South to keep slavery intact because they didn't want to give up the slaves. And after the Civil War, they, their Indian territories taken away. They put on Indian reservations. They're giving compensation, but also the slaves that they owned were given land. They were given money. They were given benefits, and their descendants got this as well. Now that's still being enforced right now for the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, Cherokee, and Seminole Indians. All right, most of the African people who were getting these benefits were pushed out of it. All right, so we need to study that. The Black Freedmen Indian Treaties of 1866. If you go to powernomics.com, Dr. Claude Anderson has information there dealing with that, and then also I deal with that in my DVD lecture, Black Wall Street: From Destruction to the Resurrection of Economic Empowerment. It's available at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com is also on digital download at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com as well. Okay, so look, follow us here on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, you can order our YouTube videos, audio podcasts, radio shows that will and you can also donate to the African History Network. What we do is help support the African History Network. You can donate at paypal.me, paypal.me/the AHN show. paypal.me/the AHN show. All right. So look, I got out of here. More people coming out. This is from 11 a.m. 8 p.m. today in Detroit. Eliza, Howell, Park, Telegraph, and Fenkel and Telegraph. Come on out, free event. Our vendor table is here. The African History Network is breaking down the why. All right, we got to get out of here. Hey, remember at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the